It's a BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by Venus.
What's up with Sega and the hesitation on basic world building and character writing? With some things, like character arcs being wishy-washy, I understand because characters have to stay recognizable. But when it comes to the existence of humans and money, or even writing things like anti-heroes, Shadow, competently, why are they so iffy about it? If Ian doesn't want to bite the hand that feeds, then Kyle can answer alone on this one if that's better for you guys. Ideally, I like both your perspectives, though. Also, hey Kyle, what's up? Hi.
I cannot speak for the company or its thinking over the past 30 years. All I know is that there is a desire within certain departments to tighten some things up, and I should probably just leave it at that.
Tighten up, y'all. I mean, my perspective is that, Sega never really thought about this stuff, the ramifications of it in the future, and how it would affect things. So I'm glad to see that they're at least recognizing that they probably should do that now. So that's good. I hope it sticks. All right. We've seen the variable Wispon interact with the main types of Wisp from Sonic Colors. The Wii version specifically, minus Drill and White for some reason. But what kind of power would the variable Wispon get if it were compatible with the other kinds of Wisp? Since there's apparently a million of these things that I never noticed, I'll just ask about the ones that interested me the most, those being Crimson Eagle, Yellow Drill, Red Burst, Ivory Lightning, and Purple Frenzy.
I'm trying to think back now why we settled on those particular 5, and I think it was just for their ease of being turned into projectiles or their usage by Whisper. Not trying to fit every single Wisp or every permutation or anything that would be too overpowered. So just, spitballing, not making a dedicated decision on any of these in particular. Crimson, maybe a variation on the Hover Wisp, kind of shoot you off in a particular direction, just faster, or another projectile, just fire off a big old screaming eagle. Drill, I would imagine, be something like the Drill Wispon in Forces, where it's like a big old punchy, stabby, drilly thingy, bore through barricades and just, it's a bayonet with a vendetta.
A bayonetta, you might say.
Yeah. Red Burst, I'll say grenade launcher. Incendiary grenade launcher. Ivory Lightning, you could either go like a dedicated, taser beam, or go the Forces route and turn it into a lashing electro whip, which is kind of neat. I can get behind that. Works for me. And Purple Frenzy, because Frenzy turns you into a big old snarly chompy beastie. Maybe it launches a tiny fanged snarly beastie that bites the ankles of your target, distracting them. So you can shoot them with the lightning taser beam. Bzz, bzz.
It's the cheese get 'em ray. I like it. In the classic Getter Robo franchise of mecha and anime, the main pilots of the 3-in-1 combining mecha have an archetype associated with them that represent their role in the team. Ryoma Nagare represents the body, being a hot-headed but passionate fighter and the leader of the group. Hayato Jin is the mind, being a cold and calculating genius, but with a stroke of insanity that makes him unpredictable. And finally, we have based Musashi Tomoe, who represents the heart of the Getter team, being a lovable big man underdog with a heart of gold. To keep the question itself short, if you were to put the teams in Sonic in these categories for their own team dynamics, how would you sort them? We're talking all of the teams in Sonic Heroes, and for fun, let's throw in the Babylon Rogues, Neo Diamond Cutters, and Silver, Blaze, and whoever you would throw in with them, whatever you would call that team. Silver and Blaze don't need a third team member.
Yeah, but it's going to be Marine.
It is, but they don't need one.
I mean, anyway, so we're looking for the fighter, the driven one, the smart, calculating one, and the heart of the cards.
Yeah.
Well, right off the bat, that's Knuckles, Tails, Sonic. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Knuckles is the go get 'em. Tails is the please look before you go get 'em. And Sonic's like, I can totally believe we're going to get him. Amy, if we're going with the traditional Team Rose, she's kind of 2-in-1, and we don't really have a mind. But that's not true. Cream does ask her to mind her P's and Q's.
Big is the mind.
So I guess...
Excuse me. Big would like to...
I love the big man.
Big would like to have
the big man, but... Big would like to have a word because that's all he has. It's a word.
That's all he needs.
I guess Amy would be the drive. I mean, she's the one who brings everyone together to go hunting for their lost friends.
Yes.
Cream is the one saying, let's be mindful of things. And Big is,
Big.
The big, snuggly, lovey boy. Yeah, all right, there you go.
Okay.
Vector's your go get 'em. Espio's the smart one saying, let's maybe think this through. And Charmy is nothing but heart. He is all about emotion. I mean, Vector is the better detective out of all three. Arguably, he is the heart, but he's also the one that's like, let's go chase that paycheck, boys. So I'm going to put him there. Team Dark. Oh, Lord. I mean, honestly, no debate. Rouge is the brains between the three.
I mean, all three.
I guess Omega's the go get him because he's, he wants to go destroy them Eggman's robots and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to stop him. But he's got initiative, which makes Shadow the heart. And I guess you could pull that as the whole he really does care, but he doesn't show it angle, maybe, possibly.
I mean, between if you take all three of them and combine them all together, they have all about the same amount of brains as Rouge alone. So,
with the Rogues, Wave obviously is the smart one. Jet and Storm are both kind of the go. I guess Jet is the go get 'em.
Yeah, he's more motivated
because he's got the motivation, he's got the aspirations, and Storm is there to just back him up. That is Storm's entire purpose in life, is to support the boss. So I guess there's your heart, skewed as it is.
Mm-hmm.
For Neo Diamond Cutters, they're putting Tangle, Whisper, Lanolin. Lanolin's the smarts. Tangle, you would think, is the heart, but I'm going to put her as the go get 'em because she has initiative to spare. And I'm going to put Whisper as the heart because it's the broken heart.
Mm-hmm.
She has seen how this can go poorly, and she's going to do everything to make sure it doesn't go poorly again. She needs to open up. It's hard for her to be the heart, but she knows what's on the line. So she's going to be the most stalwart of hearts in our Getter Sonic series. And then Silver Blaze and Marine.
Open your heart, Whisper. It'll be all right.
I mean, Marine's like a child, and for all her ditziness, she does build her own watercraft from scratch.
She is the smart
That's pretty
one.
darn smart. But I'm going to put her as the go get 'em because she's the one who's building watercraft. She's the one who's going out. She wants to be the captain. She's got the drive, and part of her arc is learning to mediate that a bit. So we'll put her as the go get 'em. Blaze, I'll say, is the smartest of the three.
Yeah.
Or at least the most thoughtful.
Most
and
tactically
Silver,
minded, maybe.
Yeah.
She could come up with that.
And she can be passionate.
Yeah.
I mean, she has a bit of a temper, but of the three.
Mm-hmm.
And then Silver, he's the heart.
Yeah.
He has dreams of an absolution. He will fight against a doomed future for the sake of everyone else. You don't get a bigger heart than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Silver is a big heart. Big heart. You should probably go to a doctor. So I was watching Mobile Fighter G Gundam recently, and I noticed a few similarities between the way Devil Gundam cells function and the way the Metal Virus functions. A virus that turns the inflicted into mindless androids that can be controlled. Simplified explanation, of course, but was there any inspiration taken? I know you said you watched Mobile Fighter G Gundam, so I'm curious.
I never got to the Devil Gundam arc sequence segment. I can't remember why now. I think part of it was just hard to catch the episodes with my schedule. And I think part of it was I kind of burned out on it because the novelty of it, the ridiculousness of it was fun to a degree, but this is when I was still like early into anime, and I thought Gundam Wing was a stirring political commentary. So to have this super goofy fighting robot G Gundam, that's not what Gundam's about. It's a serious war anime. I don't know.
Really? You think big, colorful, giant fighting robots is serious?
OG Gundam, I think you could maybe make a better argument for that early on. Maybe the first half of 08th MS Team, but yeah, okay. So my perspective has changed since. My horizons have broadened.
Okay.
I really should go back and watch G Gundam again. But to answer your question, no, I did not actually get to the Devil Gundam arc. I never actually saw how any of that played out. So that's kind of news to me, but also neat. So
cool.
If you don't believe me, if you think this rambling story is a smokescreen, fine, it's an homage. Sure, you caught me. But no, there was no intentional parallel between the two.
Oh, gee, Gundam. In many previous BumbleKasts, you seem to react with some level of hostility to Kyle's jokes about characters having two hands in reference to them being in possible polyamorous relationships. Perhaps I'm overstepping a bit by asking this, but do you have a problem with polyamorous relationships? I understand this question may be a bit heated for the show, but I'm genuinely curious, given you reacted pretty strongly. Though I could just be missing an attempt at humor there, to be fair. If you'd rather not broach this topic here, then instead choose a new nickname for Kyle and refer to him as that for the rest of the episode or until you get bored. Why not
I'm
both?
going for... There you go. I'm going for the joke. No.
Yes.
We keep coming back to, this is a family show, and Kyle with his naughty mental imagery with many hands going many places. That's not appropriate for the children's. And so Kyle, stop it. Get out of the water bottle. That's just me being, incensed for the sake of the joke. If you are in a polyamorous relationship and it works for you, and I don't mean you specifically, Venus, I mean the rhetorical you. Cool. I'm glad you can make that work. Just, two people can be really tricky to make work. Adding more people is going to make it exponentially more difficult to find a balance. At least I would think so. But if there is genuine love and respect and safety being practiced by all, then yeah, Mazel tov. I'm glad for you guys, whoever you may be.
Yeah, awesome. I don't say those jokes at your expense. I just say those jokes because, why not let them... why not? They've all got two hands. Let it happen, Sega.
With opposable thumbs.
Surely you want to just jump right into the deep end after so many years of no romance. Just remember, the socks stay on. As someone who's looking to get into the field of comics at some point, if possible, and is building a portfolio, I got curious about something and was wondering if you would know. Without naming names, I've noticed that some artists who actively work in the field have drawn art of the properties they work with in a fashion that, let's just say, you might not want to show grandma. Being someone who knows a guy whose cousin's uncle's best friend's lawyer dabbles in that kind of art, I want to know if it's possible that drawing stuff like that could jeopardize one's ability to work on certain properties or with certain companies. Do most companies ignore it? Do they choose to look the other way? Do they not care? Do they hire because of that kind of art? I have to know. My guy that I know's cousin's uncle's best friend's lawyer's future depends on it. It's a very specific... You're getting specifically defensive there, Venus.
I have no general guideline on this because it is going to vary from company to company, editor to editor. Some editors are like, if you can meet a deadline and you're on model, don't care, Other companies are like, if you have touched anything remotely risque with a 10-foot pole, to the gulag with you. So do your research, I guess, on where you're trying to go with this, but there's so many variables. I can't say yes or no one way or the other. If it's fairly tame stuff, I don't imagine too much concern. If you're getting to like some really delinquent or straight up problematic stuff, then yeah, you shouldn't be doing that anyway, but that might torpedo your chances. But if we're talking like consensual kind of vanilla stuff, in this day and age, I don't imagine too many people would raise an eyebrow, and it would take like a concentrated clutching of pearls from the less open-minded to cause an issue. If you're really concerned about it, I would say, use a screen name and put it in a location that is more towards that audience, and then just don't associate with it in your public-facing accounts.
Compartmentalize it a little bit.
Yeah.
If you feel like you need to. Yeah. Might help if you're concerned.
If you are pitching for a general audience franchise, I would not put adult material in your portfolio.
No.
Just speaking from experience, makes it a little awkward when you're on the show floor and somebody brings you their sketchbook. And frankly, I don't think Daphne or Scooby-Doo would do that together, but you know what? You're on model, so good luck to you as you pitch.
Zoinks, I guess.
That's not hyperbole. That's a true story. That was Heroes Con early 2000s. Day one. Show had just started, man. What a note to begin on. They were pretty much on model, though. I got to give them that.
Jinkies. Wow. Amazing. Well, all right. Anyway, let's move on. In the Teen Gene Topo Gureen Lagann mecha anime, spiral energy is an energy that is manifested and magnified by the user's belief in themselves and their ability to achieve victory, allowing the user to tap into limitless energy that is capable of universe destruction and alteration of probability itself. If Sonic were to harness the power of spiral energy, just how powerful would this theoretical spiral Sonic be? How about a super spiral Sonic using both spiral power and the Chaos Emeralds? And more importantly, who in the hell does this hedgehog think he is?
That's Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
I know what
roll that out a little faster.
I know what Venus's pronunciation guide said, and I know what I said.
All right.
You're welcome.
Sonic basically is the personification of spiral energy. He would legitimately toss out the "don't believe in me, believe in the you that believes in me." Or no, I screwed that up. You know what I mean? You know what I'm going with this. And quite frankly, I would love to see a spin-off of Sonic that just unapologetically dives into that, where you have Eggman in his colossal galactic egg mecha about to crush the life out of the entire planet, and Sonic goes super just because he wants to. He taps into the full spiral nonsense malarkey and is like, nah, I believe I'm going to beat you, and this is how I do it. And Eggman's throwing planets and galactic swirls at him, and it's too much for Supersonic. Fine, spirals up into Hypersonic. What you gonna do about it? What? Tengen Toppa Sonic Lagann is gonna be great. It'd be fantastic.
Yes, I know it is Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. I know. Venus included a pronunciation guide. I was just being...
I know, and you read it very faithfully.
I was just being a contrarian for the sake of being silly, because they put in that pronunciation guide. If you hadn't put in the pronunciation guide, I might have actually just read it right. But you put it in there, so I'm like, no, I will say it wrong.
Kill off Eggman in season 1. 1 million Nermies.
Good. Yeah. Make it 50 million and we'll have a deal. Someone pointed out to me recently that Honey the Cat made a cameo appearance in the Free Comic Book Day 2021 IDW issue. This issue took place in the classic time, so does that mean Honey can't make appearances in the main modern issues? If so, that's a major bummer, dude.
Honey's accessibility is a big old question mark right now. That cameo might be okay insofar as it was a cameo. I don't know if it was called out specifically as her or if it was just, yeah, we're going to put this in here and not detail it. Nobody looked too hard of it during approvals. It's a weird potential rights issue. So whether or not Honey is even viable in Classic Sonic, I honestly don't know right now. But because she's in Classic, it means that she is around at some point. So if Honey does clear the bar and gets canonized into Classic Sonic, potentially there could be a modernized version. Yep, same goes for Mighty Ray, Fang, Beanbark, blah, 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 blah. I don't see it happening anytime soon. We have a gigantic modern cast, and Classic is still being kind of formalized. So don't hold your breath waiting. But I wouldn't worry about it just yet.
I would like to see Honey again. I don't care if it's classic or modern, whatever. But put her in. Put her in, coach. Here's this next question. Japanese Sonic Twitter brought up Super Emeralds and Hypersonic and mentioned the Super Emeralds are just powered up Chaos Emeralds. Any way you can use this as a wedge to open up hyper goodness to us again? Come on, Ian, save the day!
I cannot comment on this one.
Well, that's
not a hashtag knowing smile. That's me knowing that if I say anything, I'm going to be putting my foot in my mouth. So this one I'm going to have to abstain from.
Well, I will answer it and say, let's do it. Do it. Why is it that Archie stuff specifically can't be brought back into the fold and repurposed for other Sonic media? I get that they don't want to approach old continuities for new content, but why is it that you can't repurpose stuff like Holo and Link's Nicole or Antoine being able to use a sword? Neither of those things are stuff that only work within the Archie world or rely on that world's lore, so what gives? Has Sega explained their thought process on this, or did they just tell you the equivalent of, because we said so?
Without getting too much into it, there is at least one party that would lay claim to anything that they deemed their particular creative invention. No matter how common a concept it is, they would go to legal war over it. And that has unfortunately set a precedent for all of the material, because there's no telling who would potentially jump on the similar bandwagon. It's just generally safer to not touch anything from that era.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, yes, it would be possible to go through every individual thing that was created within the Archie continuity, pre and post boot, earmark it by creator and era, and whether it was inspired by something that is tangibly Sega controlled or was wholly new to the comic, and work out individual potential legal agreements or, untangle the knots around certain things. But that would be a tremendous amount of legal legwork, time, and money. And it pains me to say it, it ain't worth it. Post reboot showed we can just pick up and start over without missing a beat. And IDW shows that yet again, we can pick up and move on without looking back and create anew. Why would Sega go to such extreme effort to mine material when they can just make new that they know is completely safe and usable? Now, I do not speak for Sega in any kind of legal or managerial position. That's just my personal understanding of it.
Hopefully, in the future, something can change. But until then, this is where we are. But we won't leave you because we still got one question left. I can think of a really good final question, so I'll just ask if either of you have seen or read Berserk by Kentaro Miura. If so, it's pretty dang peak, isn't it? If not, then what's wrong with you? A lot of things, actually. There's lots of things wrong with me.
I just haven't had the time.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
Peak. Yeah, I have not at all. I've not read much manga. I don't read many comics. But Berserk is pretty long, too. That's another thing. It's like, why are they so long?
Adam Bryce Thomas is a big fan of it, and he wants to bring similar energy to Dragoon, which is yet another reason why I need to read Berserk to know where he's coming from. But
yeah,
that's about my extent of knowledge of it.
Dragoon. Anyway, that's all we got.
One day. Yeah, thank you to Venus for sponsoring this episode. If you want a BumbleKast Mini of your own, head over to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Take care, everybody. See you in the next one.